All right. Welcome to our meditation time together today. It is an honor to get to spend these few minutes with you, especially the day before this amazing big full moon takes its place in the sky tomorrow night. And so it just so happens that in our walk, our journey through all these different energy centers all throughout our body, today we pause and we focus on what's called ajna. We translate ajna, we always tend to think of it as this third eye, this space right in the center of your two eyes that you visually see things with. And before we really get into the meat of what ajna is, we'll do that our next time that we're together, I'd like to just start with a story. And so as you're beginning to settle in, I've used this story in lots of different contexts and teachings and in times with people that I thought it could be encouraging, but I just thought tonight it fits really well with what ajna is. And so as you're beginning just to find a steady rate of breath, a comfortable grounding place where you are in your spot, I want to tell you the story first and then take us on this journey toward ajna. So as your eyes begin to gently close or just soften your gaze, I would invite you just to visualize a camp filled with elephants on the plains, the savanna, these beautiful massive fields out in the center of Africa. Just imagine this campsite. And it's this place where these big, massive elephants are being held and looked after and tended to. So just picture it. Picture their size, how grand and huge they are. And so there was this man who was touring this camp, just as we are visualizing now, in awe of the massive size of these creatures. But as he began to walk and pay a little more attention to the details around him, he noticed that each elephant had a small stake in the ground next to their hind leg, and attached to that leg was a small rope tied to the stake. And as he passed through elephant by elephant, he saw the same thing, this small rope tied around this massive leg to this massive creature with this stake in the ground. And so he went over and he found this man who was tending to the camp, and he said, I don't understand. These elephants are so strong, so massive, that all it would take is one pull on their leg and they would break free and escape. How on earth does this happen? And so just imagine as you are seated where you are, this look of just bewilderment on this man's face. And the trainer said, when these elephants were very young, we tied them with the exact same method. The small rope on the small stake. And at that point, with their small bodies, it was enough to hold them back. Over time, even though they grew in their skills and in their strength, they were already convinced that that rope was holding them back, tying them down. And so we don't have to worry about them trying to escape because they don't believe that they can. Just picture it. Every time I share that story, it just always has this different place that it kind of settles in and touches my spirit and my heart and my mind. Oftentimes I use it as an example for folks who are really struggling with their own potential, trying to break free from past traumas or things that have held them back. But today in these moments, I'd like it to connect us to this incredible energy center right in the center of our forehead. And as we've gone up through the body and we've discovered all these spots where there is strength and there's creativity and there's grounding and there's love and there's our voice of truth, all of those help to inform this spot right in the center of our forehead represented by ajna, the Sanskrit name for your third eye, or your eye of discernment. And so just for a second, just sit where you are and just think about this idea of discernment. How when you're confronted with the situation, you rely on your discernment, your judgment, your wisdom, your insight to help you choose whatever it is that you need to do in that situation. Doesn't mean we're always going to choose perfectly, but it does mean that this third eye of discernment is meant to be a tool where we can seek the answers from within instead of always looking around us in the world for the answers around us. But what if we are like those elephants? What if, even as we have grown and we have developed and our strength has continued to manifest, we still believe that the small little rope, metaphorically, is holding us back? That rope is represented by different things for each of us. But I would propose here in this time we have together that if we can't break free from that rope, we'll never find our connection to Ajna, to each of our eye of discernment, of wisdom, of guidance. It's one of the most beautiful parts of the energies that are within us. It's meant to be our North Star, our guiding light, something we can trust. It doesn't look around us. It doesn't borrow the answers from other people. It takes us inside. Just like in meditation, when we close our eyes and we take our view internally, that's Ajna. But oftentimes in the middle of that, these voices creep up and tell us that we can't, or that we're doing something incorrect, or that this is meant for someone else and not for you. But again, I would propose that when we pause and we sit and we breathe and we intentionally turn our focus inward, that's the first step to breaking the rope. And then when you show up again and you pause and you turn your focus internally, you're getting closer to breaking it even more. And then all of a sudden you realize your meditation practice is the key to breaking the rope, to breaking the mindsets, so that no matter what situation you encounter, your discernment will guide you and you can trust it. You can look to it and you can count on it. So I'd like for us just to go back to our breath and very intentionally begin to breathe nice and slowly. And rather than seeing these elephants that we started off with tied up to these little ropes, I would invite you that as we breathe, just picture this herd of elephants walking about freely, going the places that they need and want to go at the pace that they need and they want to move. Use your breath as a guide and see that instead. So take a nice, slow, deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. A nice, slow breath in. Exhale, let it go. Couple more, breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling fully. Exhaling completely. And then I'd like for us just to pause, each of us in our own space, and whether we fully understand all the parts of Ajna and what it represents for today, let's see it as elephants that are no longer held by these small, inconsequential ropes of bondage, but rather elephants that are roaming free across the plains at the pace that they set. So keep that as the focus inside of you, as your visual, as you continue to breathe. And just be a witness to what that looks like. And as you continue just to sit where you are, breathing in slow and deep and steady breaths, I would ask each of us to look deep inside and see what your rope, this metaphor of this rope, what does it look like for you? Because our practice is strong enough to guide us once we leave this space, but we will be stronger to maintain that focus if we understand the thing that's holding us back. So just reflect for just a second. Ask yourself, you may not have an answer just yet, but ask yourself and be open to the awareness of finding out what it is. For some of us, it's deep-seated, decades-long mindsets. For others, it's something recent. There's a struggle that you're going through with a job or with finances or a relationship or a sickness or whatever it is. For some of you, it's something that's very immediate and it's right now. And for others, it's how you see yourself, how you've convinced yourself the parts of you just aren't good enough. And for others, it can be so many other things, but just ask yourself, what's my rope? What is my rope? And then ask yourself, do I want to stay as the elephant that's tied up, never realizing I already have what's in me to break free and follow my path at my pace? Or do I want to be the elephant walking along the savannah, roaming in the direction that I know I should go, at the pace I should move? And I know it sounds rhetorical, but as long as we allow that rope to hold us down, it needs to be a question that we ask ourselves and eventually we answer. Elephants weren't made to be tied up by ropes and stakes in the ground. They were made to roam free, following their path, the same way that each of us was created to follow our path at the pace that we set, not allowing the small, inconsequential things of life to hold us back. And when we can begin to do that, we'll start to find our way into the power of Ajna. We'll learn a little bit more about it in the days to come, but for right now, keep asking yourself, which elephant will I choose to be today? and in the days to come. Namaste.